And welcome everyone to Greetings from Beyond Radio. I'm your host, Rich Valdez, and we have a very special show coming up. But first, I'm going to play this video just to segue into it, and you guys are going to find this very interesting. So, producer, hit that B roll.
Cut. Cut.
Did anybody OD here? He said no, I think.
No. Was anybody murdered here?
Sure.
Oh,
God. The ball is going off.
somebody was murdered here?
Yeah.
Somebody was murdered here?
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Trust me when I tell you this. We have two very special guests with us tonight. Let's bring them on so I can introduce them. There's Kat and Courtney from Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
And these are the two that have, well, two of three or four actually of their team that have been investigating this cold case that just they happened to stumble upon 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And it's been ongoing. The location is going to remain secret out of respect to the victim. And this victim goes by the name of Kathy or Catherine. I'm going to let Kat and Courtney take over when it comes to telling the story of Kathy.
Okay, I'm gonna start, and then I'll let Courtney take it from there because that's how it happened. As the video showed you, Chris and I were there, and we were at that location to debunk folklores because the young people were there provoking and doing foolish things. And Martha from the team and myself had gotten a lot of reports, real reports, because she lived in that area, of incidents with these kids, very strange ones. Some of them were tragic, and they were unexplained even by the police. If you want an example, one of them was a couple of young girls just driving down that road and sober, not even nighttime yet. And the driver just steered off the road into a tree, and 3 survived, and the driver passed, unfortunately, 23 years old. And when the officers asked, what happened? there's no drugs, there's no alcohol, and all they could say is that something startled her. She saw something that they didn't see, and she got very scared and panicked. And there's like story after story. Some of them are less tragic than that, but a lot of bad luck coming to them. So I was trying to encourage them, with the folklore is getting out of control. I was trying to show them this is real, this isn't. Please don't fool around here. We've seen a lot. And while we were there, um, we did our night, we did our live, and we saw that black on black, which I've seen before. You're a demonologist, you're very familiar with that, when black gets blacker right in front of you.
Yeah.
I instinctively knew what that was. And we started to back up a little, and the rush went right through us. We were literally pushed. And in my experience, being third generation, that to me tells me that there's something doesn't want us to hear. Something's
Beth,
trying to
Beth
hear us.
saying, by the way, so happy to see my Trinity sisters.
Oh,
Love you, Beth.
oh, love you too, Beth.
Love you, Beth. Miss you.
So upon seeing that and recognizing that, and I know you're very familiar with that, something just, dark energy loves to keep it dark.
Right.
That was definitely, I could feel it in the core of my bones, meant for us to fear, make us run. And Chris and I are pretty strong prayer warriors. So we were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And the touch sensors, like it says, hadn't been going off all night. It was a pretty, not too crazy night, just some voice responses. And you saw what happened. And from there, the visions just were flooding me. They were flooding me. And it was kind of like distracting. So what I was doing was I was telling Courtney, because that's what she does. She's the historian and she keeps records. And I was saying, things like the first thing I saw, I can't even describe without disturbing people. It was so disturbing. I saw a male bent over. I could hear what sounded like pig grunts. And the rest, out of respect for the victim, I won't even describe because it was vile. And I can only see him from the side. I was kind of like by the back of the it went away. And then again, and all this stuff, I was making sure Courtney took record of it because I didn't know if it meant anything or it was just whatever, but I knew something wasn't right. And then it dawned on me, for some reason, I just said to her, she looks a lot older than she actually is. This is a baby. This is a baby. This is a 13-year-old. So it became very upsetting. And then I just saw who I couldn't see who they were, but I saw like just innocent passerbys seeing this white tarp with blood. So I told Courtney that. And I don't even remember all the visions. Courtney has it. She probably has a better memory than me, but I just kept seeing it and writing it down. And this
Hi,
went on.
Jenny.
Hi,
Sorry.
Jen.
Hi. And this went on for what, like Courtney, like a year and a half?
Yes.
Yeah, so we were just going back, investigating, acquiring more. We were getting names. We were getting help me, hurry, he'll be gone. All these crazy things, these captures, that were kind of making sense to what we thought. Like, and I said something terrible happened, and it feels very strongly like injustice. It feels like injustice. I even said, this whoever the family is, they're ripped apart. They just ripped apart over this. It killed all of them, technically. And then this went on for quite some time. And I couldn't really do much more about it because, like I said, I'm not from that county. I'm from the other county. So is Courtney. I don't know much about the area except for its reputation. And I do know that, with the Native Americans, I learned what they had said about it, and they were spot on. They said it was cursed. They wouldn't live in there. They gave it
So
to.
I have a question for you, though. How long would you say that this one particular case that your team has been investigating now 5 years has been going on? Because it seems that as if it's already developed an urban legend.
It hasn't. It's not
Really?
it's not in the urban legends. It doesn't.
Really? But yet people go to this area and they try to conjure something forth
Yes.
for some reason.
Yeah, especially kids. Yeah.
What reasons do they have?
They're looking for a thrill. I suggest they go to the rides. This is not the place. The Native Americans were spot on about this place. Another example I can give you is Chris and I were there because there's other cases we have there. You know, one of them's finished, but we were there and they were asking us, like the people who were following us there, to go live because we hadn't for a while. So we didn't have a lot of time. And we went there and during the course of this investigation, we heard some kids in the background and we heard one of them, their voice changed. It was very strange. It was very, it didn't. And then I could feel that presence and I was like, uh-oh, and then we heard the footsteps and the people on the live heard the footsteps and we had to go to work, So I was like, listen, this is really bad. We're going to get back to you tomorrow. I promise. Cause we had a day off the next day. We'll get back to you tomorrow. And I said to Chris, I don't make promises I can't keep. Boom, I get called into work. So I'm calling Chris and I'm saying, listen, just show up, let's not be liars. And he's like, you got it, no problem, because he lives over there. He calls me 5 minutes later, right where we were standing, where it was getting very dark, right before we left. He couldn't do the investigation. There was yellow tape all over. Somebody hung themselves.
Wow. Courtney?
Yeah, like that, it definitely preys on misery and dark.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that. So I always tell the team, if you've had a bad day, if you're upset about something, if you went through a breakup, if there's a death, please don't come on this session. Courtney knows I say that about that place all the time. Come in happy or don't come in, because this place is going to just gear in on.
It seems to amplify.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is where we're talking about. But as far as our girl, she's not even in the equation at this place. Never been brought. I never heard of her. All I was seeing was these visions, kind of, I was like gaslighting myself, put it that way, because I see it and I was frustrated and I kept going back to find out. And then our historian is going to kick in now and she'll tell you about her obnoxious voice towards me at 3:00 in the morning. But I was like, I had to pick up because she never talks like that. So go ahead.
Well, first of all, Kat kept saying to me, she's like, you're going to think I'm crazy. She's like, but I'm having, she has these visions. I didn't even start investigating yet. I was basically the moderator to the team. And I was starting to listen to the evidence and hearing the captures. I wanted to do more. And I wanted to look more into what was going on. So Kat was saying about the folklores and everything. So I did some digging, and I'm persistent and I don't stop. And I remember I just kept looking and looking, and all of a sudden I found our girl. There was a thing that said that a 13-year-old girl was on the side of the road, left there in the 1970s. And the case wasn't solved. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Kat, I'm like, you have to get up. She's like, not even like paying attention. And I'm like trying to be persistent, being nice. I'm like, Kat, come on. I'm like, I need to talk to you. And then finally I just exploded on her, which if anybody, I don't really do that unless there was a need. Yeah. And that was, from the beginning, that just started opening up the visions that Kat had mixed with the captures. And now we have tangible evidence in black and white of this is what happened. I mean, every capture that we got was basically everything that happened to this poor girl.
Yeah.
So it's like piecing a puzzle together, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
And my question, and I'm hoping people join in here with questions. Why you guys and nobody else?
I mean,
like we're a faith-based team. We don't go in for thrill. We go in really. I believe that where there's dark energy, it can affect the living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I really believe that. So I'll only go someplace. I'll only continue to go someplace if I think it's a problem. And then I'll go into, you know, the prayer warrior. You know, I'll go into Ephesians 6:10 through 18. I'll put the full armor on. You know, I'll come in with a force. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll come in like that. Because I believe, you know, the living have enough problems. Hard enough to get through the day. You should be able to go somewhere. Like, look at the suicide. You know, that guy may have possibly been thinking about it, and he just took a walk through the wrong place. You know what I
Now,
mean?
I'm going to show this real quick. And Jen, our producer, she stated, Kathy, she felt safe with you guys. She knew she could communicate easily with you. Now, here's my thing. You're both. I know Courtney's a mom. Kat, are you a mom?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I would imagine that. Thank you, Beth, for watching and listening in.
Love
Thank
you,
you.
sister.
I think since this is a girl and she was killed, murdered,
Yeah.
she would naturally reach out to motherly energy.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
personally that's what's happening here,
Martha
and
too. She
and
got
Martha too.
five.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, more power to her. Where would we all be without moms? But here's the thing. I think that's why Kathy's reaching out to you girls, and because she feels safe with you. She knows you guys are genuine, and that light that you emit from within is what this one unfortunate spirit and soul that's passed on feels drawn to tell her story, if anything, and hopefully to catch the killer, which we'll get into later on. Because for those of you that are not aware of what's going on, this is a cold case. It's been going on for 5 years. Trinity, when it comes to Trinity team, I'm going to call you guys, what do you want me to call you? TPILI or Trinity?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Whatever.
Trinity Paranormal. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Trinity Paranormal has pretty much taken it upon themselves to shed light onto this mystery. It's a deep, deep rabbit hole with a lot of thorns.
Yeah.
And along the way, they've been cut. And I think what's really happened, when I say cut, it's metaphoric, but I think also literally to their soul, because they feel it so much more. They're moms. Imagine, I'm a dad, and if my little girl was killed so tragically, I'd feel it for many, many years to come. Imagine this poor soul, and she finally has an opportunity to reach out. Kat, obviously you do have the gift, and I believe we all have a sense of empathy or empathic side to us.
Yes.
So it affects you more, but you don't see the way others do. You get visions, right, of what happened or of the person. How does your gift work, and how have you been able to apply it when it comes to this one particular cold case?
Okay, so I don't turn them on or turn them off.
They just come on their own.
They just come on. Sometimes I pray for answers, and they're flashy. They're kind of flashy, so sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, wait, keep going. It's like almost like seeing a piece of a movie. Like, why am I seeing this guy's profile? Give me his face. You know what I mean? Give me his face. Don't do that to me. So they come in flashes, but it all starts to come together because if it's like a strong case, if it's like very, very urgent or important, it'll keep coming, and it pops up out of nowhere. I'll be getting ready for work, and such. And Courtney can tell you that this is where it got really weird is if you read this, she has the story of how he was found, how this child was found. It was bypassers. There was a tarp with blood. Remember how I kept saying, and I didn't even think it was important, she looks a lot older than she is. She was found and labeled as a Jane Doe between 18 and 25 by the cops.
Wow.
When the parents came in and confirmed that this was their daughter, they said, no, 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 she's 13. You
That's
see
the
what I'm saying? So this was all before we even knew she, we'd find her. So
Yeah.
this is why Courtney said, get up, get the F up, Kat, because she was seeing this and she had been hearing me saying these things for a long time and saying, I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know. This is the message I'm getting in prayer, and sometimes randomly. And all those details, I don't think I'm saying them all. Courtney might remember, but all those little weird details, were
Yeah,
shown.
the age, I mean, the age, you kept saying she looked older,
Yeah.
the visions, the tarp, I think it was like or a tent or something, and like
Yeah.
it was like in those, I mean, not
Yeah.
in those exacts, but like it was just everything was spot on. And at that moment, to me, it was like, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
Your visions are not, because they were literally like, she didn't know, I didn't know about this girl. This girl, came to us without, any information on her.
Yeah. Literally not in the stories there, not in the folklores. I'm not from that county. I was literally there. She was actually doing the research on the folklores because they were getting in here in Long Island ridiculous. A man with a bag of heads, silly things where it was making these kids go there and it was like, stop it. Stop it.
What's funny? This was, I'd say, close to about 15 years back. Psychic medium I used to work with had a dream. I'm not going to call it a vision, but it was a dream, and it had a beginning, middle, and it was a family. It was a black family. They were farmers, and they lived in a very, very small shack, and they tended to the fields. The mother got sick. It seemed to be yellow fever. The husband tried to help as much as he could. He got it. The kids got it. They all died. We're talking a family of 6 that died here.
Wow.
In this little shack. No one knew for well over a month. She's here telling me every single detail of what happened. The mom got sick first, the dad, then the kids.
Yeah.
And no one discovered them until about a month later. Here's the thing. No one ever told their story. It's like they lived a very unassuming life. They were farmers.
Yeah.
They were very, very poor, but they got by. And from what I understand, I recall it was peanut farmers. And they never got their story told. And they did finally through the psychic medium I worked with.
Wow.
And that's sometimes all they need is for their story to be told. But it seems
Absolutely.
like it's just not this, that's happening here with Kathy. She wants more.
Oh, well, yes.
I'm just going to use this as a term. She wants blood, and I don't blame her. But so do I, and I'm sure you guys, being parents, we're all parents here, knowing how she was killed. And I'm not going to go into much detail because we're going to little by little let this out as time goes by, because this is going to be an ongoing thing. Guess what, guys? This is mystery night. This is kind of like those, dinner shows that you go to and you have dinner, and then you have a mystery theater going on, and who done it is going on here. Except the problem is here, we've talked, and the three of us, we already know who done it, and now we're trying to figure out how we can help Kathy go to the light and be at peace.
Yeah.
I think, and Kat, getting back to you, it's funny the way you're describing the visions. I also get those when my empathic side is like full on. Okay.
Yeah.
I get like these flash visions, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And I'm like, okay, what am I seeing? I literally have to, and I'm not kidding. I got to take pen to paper and start writing down everything I'm seeing. And because the flashes are maybe 2-3 seconds tops. And then I'm like, what the hell was that? And then
Yeah.
another one comes, and another one. I have to start writing down. It's kind of like you get like these little flash images,
Correct.
and it's forming a story. And if I don't write it down, and that's pretty much what Courtney's been doing, is writing down everything you've been
Yeah.
seeing,
Thank God. Yeah.
and then going back and trying to piece everything together to make sense of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're still on the empathic side of things. Is there something holding you back from going into the psychic medium side? Because I've always felt empathics leads into so many other psychic abilities that we could actually venture into. Do you think that you've chosen to just, I'd just rather keep it as flash visions, and that's that. I don't want my bed surrounded by spirits of people I don't know. When I wake up, all of a sudden, who the hell are you?
Well, it's too late for that.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, no, she gets that as well.
Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
I always call her like the Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost. And it's like they're all like in the closet, and all of a sudden start all coming out to her like, oh wow.
It's
Yeah.
I got that more from Medium, which is based off of a true psychic medium. Her last name is Benoit, and the show was called Medium. And I remember one of the first scenes I ever saw of the first episode. She wakes up and she's got her bed surrounded by all these dead people, and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And then all of a sudden, come to find out, that's really how her life is.
Right.
So if you're already getting unwanted visitors in your bedroom, we got problems
Everywhere.
They don't stop.
Yeah. So the answer to that question is, like I said, we're a faith-based team. So what they call us, and I'm what they call a first century Nazarene. So it's kind of the original scriptures before they moved from the eastern part of the world, how they connote to the western part of the world. Okay. So that a lot of people have a misconception. They call people like us, the title is seer, like seers. So I only embrace what I prey on. Also my thing is not just human spirit. Since I was a little girl, there's entity involved. And
Right.
I did not understand why I see a lot of horrific things. I'll see faces contorting. I've had woke up with the inside of my mouth cut. This was before I went into, I'm okay now, but when I was growing up, I just ignored this. I just didn't want a lot to do with it. And I'm like, okay, so if this person has a gift and they're seeing a cute little boy and this person's feeling love and light, I get the devil. Like I get what you would call, I get the dark stuff.
You get the nasty stuff.
Yeah, if I go to a jail cell, I get the most vile energy. I get, it's infuriating. At this point, I'm not afraid of it. So it's infuriating to me. So I went into, prayer, meditation and stuff, on the script. I was like, what is this? What is this? And I came to learn that, I think that's my area. And if you don't, it's kind of like going into a war. You need to know who your enemy is before you step in, right? So that's kind of like, that's my take on it. That's how I kind of see it now. Like, okay, what is this thing? Oh, what was that? And now I can walk in knowing what I'm dealing with, and I know it's kind of terrifying, some of the stuff that, to see things like that, but I didn't ask for this. I'm third generation. My mother says we're fifth. Everybody is a little different, each generation. My mother is a dreamer, like your friend. She does the dreams. I'm more of the visions. I'm also clairaudient. I'll hear something right up in my ear. The place I work at is very, very haunted. I hear my name all the time. Like,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a comment here from Beth, and I'll share it with you guys. Working cold cases and missing persons cases are so very sensitive. It makes it a million times harder when children are involved.
Yes.
When spirit finds someone that can communicate, they will do anything to get the truth out.
Yes, Beth. Yeah, that's what I feel like is happening. I feel like she's saying, we recently have some pretty urgent messages that kind of are indicative of what Beth just said. So I believe she was trying to. We found out everything you're saying is true, and there's evidence of it. Courtney can get into that, but we, found out a lot more over the years, and we've gotten to the point where we are dealing with law enforcement. I can say that we are dealing with law enforcement right now.
You're up, Courtney.
Well, I just even begin, like, I would always seem to find something. I don't know how, I don't know what. Then I just started realizing I don't think that it's me. I think that, not that I have any gifts or any gifts that I know or anything like that. I'm not claiming that, but there's something more that is, and I don't know, people call it sometimes guardian. I don't know what it is, but messengers, but they're helping me find, like, I think they're finding it through me. I don't know, because it's insane with what the information that I have gotten, with the folklores. I mean, to go back what you say, like, why you guys, not anybody else? I also think intent has a big thing to do with it, and that also Kathy senses our intent, that we've kept coming back. I mean, this is a 5-year-old case, and we've been coming back, and either if we're not there, I'm doing research. Chris, Kat, Martha, like, they're doing sessions there. She's coming through at their houses, at their jobs.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this.
Okay. Yeah.
Funny.
If I can interject, I think I know what Courtney's saying. When she found Catherine, she wasn't looking for her. We were on a project debunking folklores. We were going to take every folklore, walk onto that site, and show these kids, this is not an old hospital. It's a concrete line. I spoke to a mason. It's a concrete line for the old fire hydrants, because a lot of woods have fire hydrants in them in case there's a fire. They can get in. So you can see the new line and the old line, and they're calling that remnants from an old hospital, and it's not. So we were doing things like that. And that's why she was so blown away, because when she was I said, Courtney, find me more of these folklores so I can get these kids to go find something else to do, please, And Kathy just popped up on her.
Yeah, I mean, but like everything.
That's what she's saying.
Was just like everything was Kathy. Like, not even anything. Like, once I found the article, and all the information, everything started coming out. I mean, I even had looked into, different articles, and it was just insane about what had happened to her. They had suspects, but nothing was done about it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. There was multiple suspects, but nothing. You're talking about a cold case. I mean, like, we have gotten words in injustice, and she's had nothing but injustice.
Right.
So that's why, reaching out and finding somebody that's listening, it's like, oh my God, you're listening to me. You're here. You came back, and that's why I believe.
It seems that you don't even have to be there.
No.
She seems to follow your energy, which I think is kind of like breadcrumbs to a spirit. She's been following your breadcrumb, or spirit breadcrumbs, if you want to call it that, for lack of better words, to where you guys live, and communicating to you whenever she feels she needs to get a message across, or just to let you know, hey, I'm still around, and chop, let's get on this. I want justice.
100%. I always tell the team, I'm like, she's back around, and then
Right.
Chris is like a sensitive, and he for some reason, Spirit is very comfortable around him. He's got a good nature, he's very comfortable, and he'll call me and he'll be like, listen to this, and it's like, Catherine, help, because he does a lot of sessions, and it's just like, okay, we're on a different case right now, and she's popping back up all over his
We're
equipment.
in different states.
He gets her a lot, you know. He gets the and he moved upstate. He's not even on Long Island anymore, and it's still, you know, it's just it's surreal. It's surreal.
It's an energy imprint that she recognizes and now follows no matter where he or any of you will go.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've had situations like that. I
Yeah.
had a case years back. Good God, we're talking about 2004. I had gone to Key West, which is a good 3.5 hours drive from where I live in Miami, and I happened to come upon a grave site. And what stuck out to me about this grave site was just not, you know, the tombstone. It had the date of the birth date of the mother and death date, and the birth date and death date of the child. But the birth date and death date of the child happened to be the same death date as the mother, meaning this was a stillborn baby. It was, and the mother died giving birth to the child. But what stuck out about this case was this was back in the day when the ghost box didn't exist. It was called the Hack Shack. You know, I'm going far back.
Right.
And the Hack Shack, I was going to keep going because I had taken a picture of it. But all of a sudden, you know, it said, okay, I want to take an EVP, and I put the Hack Shack on there. I put the EVP or the voice recorder. I said, do you want to talk to us? Do you have something to say? Well, okay. You know, we waited for a good 6 minutes, and we figured, well, let's get going. Kind of like what happened to you guys.
Yeah.
And I started to get the recorder. I started reaching for it. I said, no, wait, please don't go. And it was the voice of a child.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, hold on a sec. So from that point on, we were literally having a conversation through the Hack Shack. And I was like amazed. And I said, do you miss your mommy? And it said, no, mommy's here with me.
Oh my God.
So it was, I'd say, a good 15-minute conversation through the Hack Shack and EVP. Ironically, I was with a team at that time, Florida Ghost team, but no one knows where the team leader is anymore. We don't know if she's dead or alive, to be honest with you. So all that information went with her.
Oh,
that was one of the best EVPs I had ever captured. But it reminds me a lot of your case. And that's something that I really feel if you guys keep digging, you're going to find the answers that, you know, you need to find for Kathy.
Yeah.
How close do you guys think you are to helping this case be closed once and for all?
We're breathing right down his neck.
Oh, that bad, huh?
So
I should say that good, huh?
Yeah. And he doesn't know. Now, we'd have to go a little bit backward. When Courtney stumbled across this information, she was talking to me and said, can you show me who the suspects are? You know, I said, do you happen to have any photos of the suspects? Because this all happened in time. I didn't find everything all one night, you know. So she said, there's two main ones. I said, all right, don't just show me them. I just want to see their face. You know, I want to see who they are. And remember that the actual assault and murder happened in the mid 70s. So I wanted to see them as they looked, you know, somewhat in that time period, not now, you know, if they're alive.
Right.
And she showed me the first one, and he happened to be a notorious one that been on documentaries, the first one. But I didn't recognize that right away. All I said is, that's a really bad guy, but can I see the other guy? And she showed me the other guy, and I physically fell off my bed. That was very indicative of the profile that I saw. And he's quite hideous, by the way. I needed to add that. But yeah, I mean, all I can tell you is if he didn't do this to her, he did this in Long Island, because I saw him. That was him for sure. I saw him, the breathing, you know, and ironically, I take it very offensive that somebody would hurt a child. That brings me to a very angry state sometimes, which I'm trying to control. I think, like I said, I told you I deal with dark spirit a lot, and they can say, and I get some pretty vile responses when I'm on those cases trying to help vile that I find very offensive, like them, like spirit coming back and saying inappropriate things about the person's body, snorting, the pig sounds, and the laughing. I get a lot of that, and I think it's meant to bring my anger out. So Courtney tries to reel me in. Martha does, because I'm like, excuse me? Like if you were alive, we'd be going, like, what are you talking about a kid like that, But then I have to realize, I know, the intention behind that is to get me to, go left when I'm going straight,
So let me ask you this question, since I'm assuming, and I hate to assume because I don't want to make an ass of myself here, but here's my question to you. It sounds to me that the killer is still alive.
Yes.
Yes.
So other than Kathy, who's coming across taunting like that?
The living can leave energy. I've picked up on them many times, and when we've done residential, where it turned out to be like a nasty ant or something like that. They can leave. I call it their stink. And being where this child was found, that's a hot spot already. If I could give you a quick history, the Native Americans in the 1600s would not live in these beautiful acres, this beautiful place.
Why is that though? Was it
Well,
cursed?
that's what the settlers said. The settlers said, "Why wouldn't you live in here? We want to buy this." And it wasn't even like, our bad history with Native Americans where we ripped them off and stole them. Not we, because I wasn't here. I'm first.
Right. Yeah,
But
everyone else.
where the settlers ripped them off and such, they were like, "Yeah, you want to buy it? Here you go." But I'm telling you right now, it's cursed. And they laughed at the chiefs. There's 5 tribes there. They laughed. They're like, okay, silly natives, we'll buy it. Within a month, the head of the settlers went back to those tribes and kind of like apologized. Or I think it was more than a month, but nothing will prosper there. Their claim was that something came from the sky, and it's the highest peak in Long Island. So their cows and their cattle would go up there and disappear. They couldn't grow any corn. People were getting sick. They just wouldn't live there. The only thing they used it for were pathways to go through in the day. And you can still see those pathways. We get a lot of captures of horses and carriages. But
You can literally hear them.
Yeah, you can hear them. Yeah, you can hear. It's very clear. And I hear them clairaudient too. I always say, horses again? I'm like, what's with the horse? What am I going to do with this? But so you're talking about where she was found was already a hot spot for evil, because they were not calling this presence, this curse, good. Now, I also picked up on rituals there, and I believe in good and bad in every practice, but this wasn't a good practice. This was not a good practice. This was the dark arts. And I pointed at the area. I could see the circle. I could see the robes. I said, this is not a good, because there are some cults that prey on darkness. They do that for a reason. They use it for trade.
Energy is energy.
Right. And they use it for trade and in their rituals. And this was that kind of cult. And ironically, I was watching Rob from Suffolk County Paranormal about 3 or 4 years later, and he won't go there. He lives in Long Island, Suffolk County, Long Island Paranormal. He won't go there. And I was like, why? And he said, because he went to drive in there and he saw this cult in a circle, and he thinks they were using dead animals and such. And I said, can you just tell me where it is? And Courtney will tell you.
Yeah, and he didn't know that we knew, that Kat knew, and Kat didn't know. It was just the most, but again, like validated what she saw.
Yeah, 3 and 3
without knowing.
Yeah, no, I know him through social media. I don't know him. I don't know what. And he said that he won't go back there. That he was terrified of the area. He said he'll come back there with us.
So I have a question for you though. I mean, is this location
Hmm.
roundabout where she was found dead?
Yes.
And do you believe that this is where she was killed?
I don't know.
No.
You're not sure.
I believe that she was taken somewhere else at some point. Um, and you know what you're looking at right now, you can actually start to feel the energy change as you're driving in there.
Okay, so I'm beginning to think this cursed location is more of a vortexy kind of place,
Correct. Yeah.
and it draws any kind of energy,
Yeah.
whether it be from a person or ritual that was performed there or whatnot. I think maybe, and this is just a theory, working theory, that we have this area that has so much energy, even the Native Americans wouldn't even dare stay on this land.
They left.
Uh,
Yeah.
they left,
Yeah.
and they even warned the all of
The settlers.
settlers about this.
Yeah.
They know something, and now Kat and I, you and I have had this conversation when it comes to Native Americans. We have a great deal of respect for them.
Yeah.
And not
Big
excluding
time.
you, Courtney. I'm sure you do too. But the thing is they have the Native Americans. This is why I respect them. They have such a connection
Correct.
to spirit.
Correct.
Spirit. And when I say spirit in general, great spirit, and also spirits around and also of the earth. They have this connection that we don't necessarily share.
Right.
And this wisdom is something that goes for many, many years. Do you feel that what they were really saying is that it wasn't cursed? Maybe it was sacred ground.
Well, from the way they described it, something visited and they witnessed it from the sky. That's the way they described it. And after that visit, it was nothing but problematic. They're very, very in touch. Like as you said, my opinion is if a Native American tells you that's a dark area or that you need to take them seriously. Thus far, they've been spot on, in my experience, every single time. So I don't know that they're saying it's sacred because the way it was described is they're not interested in that area. They're not interested. They're saying, leave that area. Don't try to play with that area. So of course now, the other side, the opposite side of that area has hiking grounds and has all these people going in and out. So we go there to pray. You can, if you're minding your business and you're not provoking spirits and you're hiking on the other side of it, you're fine. You know what I mean? But that's not what's going on. It is what's going on, but it's not what's going on in full. There are people going there doing very stupid things. This type of cult that I saw preys on that. They use darkness. They're aware. They're in touch with the spirit world. They know what's there. They're pretty much calling it out. They use it for there are cults like that. They do exist, and that's what I saw. That doesn't help the situation, and that's pretty much exactly the general area where we go. It's pretty much right in that circle, and try to pray because the guy committed suicide. There was a lot of strange incidents of death in that area. There has been over the years.
What have you been able to come up with, Courtney, in all of your research when it comes to this one particular case, piecing everything together?
Well, I have found her actual sister. I haven't contacted because, how do you contact somebody when you don't even know what's going on? And you don't have much information. But I had doing research, I had found, and she still has her close to her.
Yeah.
I have found that I have found where this person was incarcerated.
Gotcha.
He actually was incarcerated for another crime, that the similarities are like identical. I mean, literally identical to what happened to Kathy happened to somebody else. Luckily, she escaped.
Yeah, she was older.
She was a little older, and luckily she was able to escape. Um, but through research, and finding out that all these are captures and what has been done to her, and I don't need to go into graphic detail, but everything that we would get from captures from the spirit box, from EVPs, from Kat's visions, was starting to become concrete proof.
Something here, just to add into this mix, from our producer. Maybe that's the laughing you hear, and the sounds like pig squeals, the dark conjured energy nows what happened and is mocking you and the situation. Do you feel that could be as well?
I feel that Jen is spot on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jen's been
more right. She couldn't be more right if she tried. That's spot
I
on.
have spoke to Jen about this case and Rich a bunch of times, and I remember Jen had me and Rich were talking, and all of a sudden Jen came in, and she into the room. I was on the phone with Rich, and she's like, does this spirit, does something try to stop you guys?
I remember that. Yeah.
And I laugh, but it's true, because I've gotten so many roadblocks, talking about the research. You're talking every hurdle, everything. I get one piece of information. Oh, this is great, Kat, I got this. I go look into it. Boom, I get slapped in the face. No, we can't help you.
Yeah.
I do again. So, and this, what Jen was feeling, was basically exactly the same thing, that this happens. It happens all the time.
And with all of us, not just Courtney.
Yes.
All of
Oh,
us
no,
regarding
not just
the case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just me, because it's just we're on the way, Kat can't find her keys. Her keys are on the bed.
Yeah.
They were on the bed. They were right there. She can't find her keys. It's not like, okay, I lost them. No, they were here. They're not here anymore.
Yeah.
Real quick shout out. We have a few. I'd like for our producer to put up on screen people that have already popped in. Just to say hi. We have Yvonne Dickinson. Hello. Sam. Dacnomania. I know who that is, but I don't know if she wants me to say who it is.
Hi.
Hi, Debbie.
Michelle
Hi, Debbie.
Panic. Debbie McCain. I guess you guys know her.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people chiming in, and a few questions here and there, and I kind of feel that we could take a break if we wanted to, so everyone can freshen themselves up, come back, or we could continue into the next half hour. It's up to you guys. There seems to be a lot of interest in this. How do you guys feel about this? Do you want to keep going, or do you want to take a little?
It's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you.
No, it's up to you guys. You guys are the guests.
I'm good.
I'm good.
We could keep going.
We're here,
Okay.
with our luck with this case, because I can tell you what happened, Rich. Before I got on here, I got violently sick.
Oh wow!
I
hope it wasn't nerves.
No, she doesn't get nerves. I'm the one with the nerves. I get nervous. She doesn't.
I'm very flat. People think I go in the dark. I'm the one in the dark rooms. I'm very flat. I don't know why it happened, but this is what I'm talking about. And I was like, I'm gonna do this show. This is for Kathy, and Rich is one of the few people who really gets this. What's been going on, and I'm gonna do this show. So I got in the shower and here
freshened
I am.
up.
Yeah.
So has the EMF gone off real quick before we continue?
It has. You know what? I will turn in a minute. I don't have a chair to turn, but it's not going off now. If it goes off again, yeah, you could. And by the way, whoever's on, I can't see you, so I apologize. I can't see who's on from this site. So Rich, I guess, can see you, or maybe Courtney can. But
I can't.
So whoever you are, I'll see you after the show, and thank you so much for jumping on. If it goes on again, I'm just going to grab this and turn. I'll just grab it and turn.
And yes, this is something that happened before the show started.
Yes.
These lovely ladies came on 10 minutes before the show started, and bam, EMF went off. And
Yeah.
for those of you that are into the scientific methodology of paranormal research, I happen to be there too. I was going to ask Kat, is it anywhere near something electrical? And she said no.
Now that's why I'm over here, because I have a phone and I don't want to be near it. I put it where there's nothing. There's a cookie jar. It's a cookie jar.
You have radioactive cookies. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, what are you going to do? So we've come to the point to where we've gone from a life taken way too early to the location. And somehow this is not where the murder happened, but for some strange reason, this is where the body was found, correct?
Yes.
It was not killed there, but its energy, some of its energy was still around enough to get trapped in this, what we now, forget the curse, vortexy part of wherever this is, we're not going to name it, got trapped.
Yeah.
What if it is trapped? And what if, let's say, and I'm just going to throw this out there and say, what if, all right?
Okay.
What if this all gets resolved? You know, justice has been served, but the spirit still keeps coming through because it's stuck because of what happened and where it happened. What do you guys do then?
Okay, I got you. Good question. We have contacts with clergy, okay, in our area. I'm in contact with somebody named Tim, and he's actually an exorcist. He was a clergy in the military, and I would call him to come with me and go into prayer to try and get her into the light. I think if anything, that energy is trapped. I believe it has a lot to do with how it affected the family, because I did see that I felt that in my visions. Like, it was tragic. The way it taught, and again, there was a book, and when we got this book, we can't show the book yet because it gives too much away, but in it, the relative spoke, and I believe the oldest sibling said, this basically, the day my sister was killed, we were all killed. And it really had an effect.
Here's another what if, and I'm sorry to keep throwing so many curveballs your way.
Go, yeah.
You say you have clergy and someone that can help if this, happens, the spirit happens to get stuck in this area. But knowing the history, knowing this is Native American.
Right. We have that too. So
you would go down that route. I would, me personally, first go down that route because
here's
of the history.
Her family was very involved with the church. That's why I was saying I would get the clergy first. If you know the history, they were a strong Catholic family. And the mother even went on to do something involving that faith for a living. She had a store. So that's why I would think to go down that road first. But I am never opposed to bringing Native Americans in, especially on their own original lands. I'm not sure. I think it was just a good place to dump her because it was dark over and this person was from the area, knew the area well. I'll give you a little idea. When we finally went over, because where she was dumped is not where we were standing when we found her. So not too long ago, about less than a year ago, Courtney and I actually decided to drive to what we could guess was this, where she was actually found. It was a family, just having their morning out, and saw this, something that didn't look right. And, that's when they called cops, and then the detectives came in and all that. But where she was, I was you can't do an investigation there. It's like a road with no sidewalks, and there's only two thin lanes, and, there's cops and cars going back and forth. So you can't literally, and the other side is residential. So you can't, but it's very close to a parking lot across the street. So we decided to drive over there. But I said, let's park there and walk over there. I just want to get a feel. And I kept pointing to this, Courtney will tell you, this house in this area. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm pointing here. So Courtney suggested, maybe it was either here or maybe it was in the woods across the street, and that's where she was looking.
Courtney, your opinion?
Right. So now you can tell him what happened in that session with that number.
Now, I always look around. I'm always,
Yes.
I want to know my surroundings. I've just always been like that, not paranormal investigator, just as a person.
Right.
And
Right.
so when we went back to the car, Kat had said that or whatever, and I looked, but nothing out of the norm. And we're doing a session, and we're like, were we by the area where your body was found, or something in those lines?
Yeah. Did you see it?
And then all of a sudden the number 7 comes up.
Okay.
We don't make anything of it right away. We just keep going.
We don't, yeah. So we don't, go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, a little bit after, I'm like, wasn't that like near the house? Like near that area? I was like, I think so. And then we drove back.
She's talking about
I'm sorry. Before we even drove there, before we even got back to do the session, I took a picture of the house and the area. And I had actually the number, and the number was 7.
Of the house.
Yes, like near the area that Kat was talking
Could it
about.
have been the mile marker?
I was saying, did you see us? Is this?
Well, that's also.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Rich, you are correct with that though too.
Yeah.
It was. I believe it was either 7 or 8. I think it's 7 miles. He lived 7 miles from her house.
Look at that.
From the area.
And the address, right where we were standing, right where I was pointing, right where we were looking around, was 7.
Now, if we can get a few pictures, maybe a few videos up from our producer, kind of like to aid us, give us a visual aid as we go along. Out of the pictures you guys sent, which one would lead us down the path that we're talking now?
I don't know if I have those pictures because they're kind of too much of a dead giveaway. Or this would be where we first found her. This would be going towards where we first found her.
Okay.
And we've been there many times, there's other things going on there that we go there for. This is where we did a case. This was in the thick of it with this twisted looking jack-in-the-box that I got a phone call from a random person about that he was terrified of. And I thought it was he was kidding, and we actually found it, and the energy coming out of it was pretty bad. So Chris has that seal.
That was the area when I got stung, talking about trying to stop us from doing what we were doing, was when we were walking through. Kat was walking right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I got attacked by bees. And I didn't say anything. I remember Kat saying to me, you know, things will try to distract you.
Yeah.
You know, you have to keep going and, you know, not saying like, you know, hi, you're getting stung by bees, do something. And I'm just walking, I'm swatting. She thought I was just trying to move the branches, not knowing, but I had gotten stung by some bees.
This was the day we were going to remove the item and do a clearance. Okay. You see what I'm saying? And I was about to end it and not do it because I wanted to take Courtney to the hospital.
I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm like, it hurts a little, but I'm okay.
So like I said, there's a lot going on there. This the first, the most prominent thing though is little Catherine. It's really crazy. It's really, and it's not.
He
It's not
deserves the
leaving.
death sentence.
Said fudge you. Play that again, if you don't mind, and then you guys can give us.
Do you think he deserves?
Go ahead.
Do you think he deserves the death sentence?
Wow. Okay. Who do you think was coming through there? Because that sounded like a male voice to me.
That's the that is it, the feeling that comes over you when that comes in that area is teetering on demonic. And
Okay.
I use that word lightly. Courtney will tell you I'm not the big demon girl, you know.
Right.
It's teetering on demonic. The energy that comes through, something is reveling in what happened there in a very pleased way.
It traps, like when we were talking before, the energy there is like trapped. So like it's holding all the energy, basically every energy that's there from anything.
Bad.
And like, yes, bad and negative.
And
And just
I'd like to
hold.
hear from the rest of everyone in the chat. If you guys have any opinions, any questions, please feel free.
Yeah.
Because we're open. You know, right now we're trying to actually solve a mystery, is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you were saying, Courtney, you feel like everything in this area, being it's vortexy.
Yeah.
So when I think of a vortex, I think of a spinning, you know, black hole circle with energy around it and
It holds,
whatnot.
I believe it holds it and it traps it.
Right.
And that's why she's
Yeah.
still there. And whether even if it's her essence or if it's her, either way, the bad negative energy holds on, like of what had happened to her.
Like food, you know. I don't know how to explain it. You can feel it there, everything that gives us that energy of fear and sadness and depression and oppression pleases this thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you feel it. It's very sarcastic. It's very spiteful, very, very much. And, you know, you get that off you get that similar energy off this vile suspect, this vile subhuman of a suspect. You kind of get that same energy off of him too, but it's much stronger when you're there.
And our producer, by the way, just came up with something that she's going to share with us. So stay on after the shows, and so we could discuss this. I feel like there's a name behind him. I'll tell you the name after the show. I got something from that.
Okay, I'm talking about the vile energy. There you go. Okay.
Now, I don't know if she means.
Right, do you see the light?
Oh, it's going off? All right.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I said it feeds off that. Yep.
Look at
that. That's why if you see me get up, something's going off.
Okay.
So, yeah. I don't know if you catch it, but you know, I was getting that feeling when I was explaining to, because I know it very well. I'm very familiar with it, and then that's when the touch sensor went off. That's just sitting on a flat bar. There's nothing there. Yeah. So
is Chris?
Chris should be on. So should Martha. They should be on there.
Okay. He states the energy is definitely not good.
Yeah. He
Now,
knows. He knows. He did most of my investigations with that's my partner, man. He knows.
so we need to actually pinpoint why this is happening. I mean, is this a curse? Is this just an area? There's fault lines that we need to think about. Is there like I can't really blame it on power lines because sometimes energy does get trapped in and around power lines.
Okay.
This has existed long before power line or
Correct.
even electricity was created. So it has to be the area. So we have to think of the fault lines. Have you ever checked, Courtney, the fault lines? And I mean like literally seismic plates, fault lines, everything that would be in that area. Is there like stream that runs underneath the ground? Oh, she's moving. Wait, cat's moving.
Yeah.
And the
There-
EMF is going off again. So here we're on to something. See, this is one of the most fascinating shows we've ever had because we're not only communicating about what you guys have experienced, but spirits coming through and showing us that we are on the right track. So people, please jump in, help us solve this. The quicker, the better, because we want this soul to move on if possible. But Courtney, would you say have you even bothered to look at the fault lines underneath the ground? Is there a body of water nearby? Does it run underneath? Do you know anything like that? Is there limestone? Is there anything? Because that can actually sometimes amplify energy, causing a vortexy kind of effect in that one particular area.
I haven't, but I do know. I mean, there is water. I mean, where it is besides being right on an island, Long Island,
surrounded.
which is surrounded by water. There are other variables which I fully did not get into yet.
Okay.
Chris is really the better person to ask that to because he did look into that. I can tell you though that Long Island was once a sheet of ice, okay, and the rocks in these woods. We broke one. I have one. I don't even know where it is. I should have brought it. I'll bring it on the next time we come. Inside it is quartz. There's quartz all over these woods. It's like riddled.
Just walking. When they were walking, they're like,
I'm sorry. I don't encourage people to go there and bring them home. Don't do that because I did that. But I said a prayer and I was careful. But please don't bring them home because
you're bringing that energy back with you.
Yeah. So,
this is what I find fascinating. This is why I was asking the question because there needs to be some reason why this energy is trapped there.
I said what was drawn from the sky that they saw of all the places. Long Island is 4 hours long to this spot. What drew them there?
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. So it now we've solved one part of the puzzle here. Quartz.
Yeah, loaded
in quartz. And as you know, quartz does what?
Yeah, I mean
it amplifies energy.
Big time. It runs we have.
So we need to look at that. That's one part of the mystery solved right there. Mm-hmm. Now we don't even have to think of why. This was a random act. It doesn't matter. It sounds to me as if it doesn't matter where you go in Long Island, you're going to find quartz. But I guess there's a plethora of it in this one particular area.
Yes.
So it just so happens that by chance, this is where the body was dumped, unfortunately. Yeah. And this is where the spirit has remained trapped. Or is it that I wouldn't say trapped, because if it's visiting you, Kat, and it's visiting Chris, it pretty much has free reign of anything. But to pick you guys at that one particular time 5 years ago, when you guys went and you were wrapping things up, you were ready to go, right?
Yeah, we were done.
And so all of a sudden it came through at the last second. There's a reason for it. So you guys were called into this, and I want to keep hearing more about your theories on as to why this happened, because we only have just a few more minutes to go. I'd say actually 10 more minutes. And then we're going to have to start wrapping things up and getting your information out there. But I'd like more people to start asking questions. And please feel free after the show is over, if you want to, lay in some questions, by all means, I will, relay the message over to Kat and Courtney.
Sure.
But, this is an ongoing investigation, cold case, and we're trying to find answers. Quartz is one of them. We've already found that answer. We know why there's a vortex there. There's a high inundation collection of quartz, and quartz is just something that collects energy and keeps it unless you know how to release it. Now, we need to start theorizing on how to free Kathy if she wants to be freed. Or is this going to be an ongoing thing until the day you guys die? Because I mean, if she feels drawn to your energy, what happens then?
Yeah, I mean, if she does, if her energy remains, that's, I don't force spirits one way or another. I don't force energy. I go by what I feel, is, or what the message is. So if that's the case, that would be fine. I would like to see her be at peace in the light of God. I really would like to see that. And I would like to see some sort of semblance. I mean, you can't take away what happened for the family. You can't do that. It happened. But give them something. I mean, they got nothing. They got nothing. They got, the town was very kind. They came together. It was a big gathering, and the church was very kind. And then it was like turned cold. It just turned cold. And to go back very quickly, when Courtney was telling you that this suspect was charged 10 years later for another crime, when I tell you the details that she's telling you about were verbatim, and the only reason that that young lady escaped is because he was nervous because her vehicle was by his house. So he did something to try and secure her while he went to go move the car. And she was older. Remember, she was older. So she did something to get herself out, but she was very, very badly damaged and hurt. And she was literally had to run. She kicked her way out and ran in the street undressed. And I think somebody respectfully covered her and brought the police. And that's why he went to jail. He was going to kill her too.
And it's ironic. And I don't know if we're getting ahead of schedule here.
I'm sorry. But there's plenty in between that. There's plenty.
I'm just,
it's a huge case.
Yeah, it is a huge case. It's 5 years worth. And I mean, to try to fit it all in like an hour and a half is close to impossible.
Impossible. Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you both this question. How close are we to finally seeing justice?
It's very tense right now. It's very tense.
Check your EMF. Check your EMF, Kat.
Talk to you. No, I got nothing right now. Right.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I'll tell you. Your girlfriend is spot on. I am convinced she's a sensitive because she nailed it. It is most certainly one step up, two steps back, one step up, one step back. I actually had to call Courtney because she was doing another step according to the law. And I said, brace yourself, please. I said, because I know we had one piece of good news. Brace yourself and we'll keep going no matter what you hear. Because the letter that she had gotten returned, I don't know why, but my instinct told me it was going to upset the life out of her. And it did. And because, it almost put us in a position where we couldn't take any steps further. But unbeknownst to Courtney, I told her, I've also been studying cold cases and the ins and outs of what to say to them. So I asked her to call them back, and we'll get into that later on. I'll get into the details of that. But I asked her to call them back and say such and such and such. And like I said, we don't have time for that now. And that brought us another step further. But how close are we, Courtney? It's almost.
Who's the toy box killer, by the way? I have Sam here saying, "Oh wow, that sounds like the toy box killer they call him."
What? I've never heard of that. We don't. Oh, if you can help us with that, what we found, a man, very quickly. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and my messenger was dinging, and I happened to be up because I'm a night shift worker, so sometimes my biorhythms are off, and I said, "Who is this guy?" And he said, "Hey, I was taking my daughter for a walk through, which in the pathways you can in the day. Like I said, you can do that. Just he wasn't there for paranormal reasons. It was just
Right.
boring." And he said, and I came across this thing. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do about that? He's like, no, he said it was really, really creepy and it made me feel a little sick. He said, can you guys go check it out? I don't think it's a good idea to leave that in the woods if there's going to be kids going out. And he gives us these weird directions. We got lost at first. And it really was well hidden, upside down in a some kind of tree stump, upside down. It was actually attached to the tree stump. And
And our producer's saying David Ray is the toy box killer. If that means anything to you, to you ladies.
I thank you. I will look into that because all I know is it was evil. That's where Courtney got stung with the bees. That's where we did. You saw branches moving by themselves. It's in our videos. You can see that on YouTube. When we were trying to do the cleansing there, which worked. It worked. We sealed it up and everything. But the road to it was not good, and I don't know why that thing was there. So I will look into any of your suggestions. It's done now, but I don't know why the hell that thing was there. But all I know is any kid who would be given something like that would scare the hell out of them.
We're getting a lot of hits left and right, by the way. You got a lot of people interested here. And we still haven't even checked YouTube. So, I mean, that's just Facebook. But definitely Sam already stated, I'm going to follow closely with this. You guys are doing something truly amazing here.
Thanks,
Just so you know.
And
And this Sam also says, survey says, okay, he had a girl escape him in similar way. Correct. She got away and had to run naked to get help. He would lock them in a contraption in his home. Okay.
Infuriating. Just infuriating.
So
And all guys, by the way, in real life are pansies. They're all pansies.
hey.
I'm sorry, but they are. Anybody who's going to attack a girl,
No.
He's such a tough guy. Ooh, that's how I feel about them. I really feel like, what are you proving here?
Either way, no, I agree with you. Whenever it comes to anyone, especially a man, that could, overpower a woman. But I've seen women overpower men. So
but it's rare. It's rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Biologically built this way.
Yeah.
It's just
but I know what you're talking about, and I agree 100%. Any individual, any man that wants to show they're superior to someone, no, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah,
okay?
Go in the MMA ring and fight somebody your own size.
There you go. Even then, I think there's some MMA women that could actually beat the crap out of a guy. So that being said,
there are, but I want to see them match up their own size and see how tough.
I agree 100%.
Instead of a 30-year-old girl.
I agree. That's why I'd throw them in jail with a guy named Bubba. So, anyways, so as we're getting close. Oh no, you didn't.
I did.
You did. All right. That's the Long Island coming out in you.
That's right.
So some young girls, yes, he kidnapped, he raped and tortured young women in his semi truck he called Toy Box.
Wow. We should look at that, Courtney, because we still never really found out why that was there. We just knew it was evil and got it out. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Because we were on Catherine. So but that was like that was one of the detours. That was in a different spot. So
and you know what? The more we talk about it, the more we come up with more information. And like I said,
I love it.
This is an ongoing series, so people, this is going to be ongoing. You'll be able to follow. Just make sure to stay on and watch. Get onto the notifications of YouTube, our YouTube page, Greetings from Beyond Radio. Just follow us there, and also on Greetings from Beyond Radio on Facebook. But ladies, before I let you go, please let people know where they can contact you on any social media platform, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I don't care. Name it. You have the floor. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna let Courtney do that. I mean, I'm on TikTok as Cat Trinity Paranormal, but I'm gonna let her do that. But I just wanted to say really quickly, um, I wanted to thank you and Jen and anybody who wants to pray in their own way, however they can, positivity towards this. I believe in that energy. I really do, and I really appreciate all the people who have supported us and prayed for this little girl. I really think that has mattered and the progress we made. It does matter to me. I really think, not just to me, I believe in that energy. You know, that if enough people want justice for this girl, we're going to work hard.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask a question real loud and say, Kathy, are you happy with the progress we've made? And Kat, look at the EMF and let me know. Courtney.
Okay, so Facebook, it is Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island, just like that. That's the same way on YouTube. And Instagram is Trinity_paranormal. And that's it.
Blinking. It's blinking.
It's blinking.
Yeah, it
There
just
we go.
started blinking. It's not blinking now. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see it.
There we go.
It's blinking.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
doing
you.
everything we can to help you out, hon. Hang in there.
Amen. Yeah, it just started blinking and it's been just sitting there doing nothing. So, yeah. I
And
don't know if
ladies,
you caught it when I should have just kept the damn camera on it. You're right, Rich. I'm sorry.
it's all right. Don't worry about it. Hey, live and learn.
She needs like multiple
You know what it
cameras
is?
in her room.
You know what it is? I need it in a spot where there is nothing. And where
Oh,
I'm
don't worry about it. You got a dream catcher there and an EMF detector. It doesn't matter. So, ladies, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
we
giving
will
us this
be.
platform to help try to give her justice.
And Chris says definitely doing a spirit box session tonight.
All right, I'll
So,
do. You call me, Chris. Yeah, we
all
do.
right.
We have so many. She talks like crazy,
So, Kat, Courtney, thank you so much for being on the show. And
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen,
Thank you all for who joined in. We appreciate you.
Most appreciated. And Rich, this was really huge that you took a understanding to this. So
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I mean, this is what we're trying to do. This, people are always talking about para unity, but they don't know how to do it. Guess what? You just learned.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Good night, ladies.
Good
And
night.
stick around because we'll talk afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just going to the green room. That's all. It's just a green room.
green
It's
room.
off to the side. No worries. No worries. You'll be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's literally been a pleasure to have Kat and Courtney from Trinity Paranormal Investigations of Long Island. And let me tell you something. This has been a great show because it's actually led us on the path of actually solving a cold case. And this has gone on too long. This soul needs to be freed. And if there's any way that we can offer her a real rest in peace, this is the way to do it, by all of us working together. So, as I've always stated at the end of every single show since 2014 all the way to present day, live life. Don't let life live you. And peace be still. See you next time.